Grave Tone.
Welcome to Grave Tone Podcast, where horror comes to life in every form it takes. I'm Megan.
I'm Arthur.
And it's our double feature weekend, part two.
Double
Part
feature
two.
weekend. I am so tired.
Yeah, Arthur's been a teeny bit under the weather, but like in that weird sort of hybrid stage where you can't tell if you're sick or not. So,
Hybrid sick.
yeah, kind of.
Plug-in hybrid.
Yeah, there you go.
What?
Like a car. So if he's a little loopy today, you might have to forgive him for that. But you're just like saying shit today that
I
comes
just say
into your
things.
head. Yeah.
That's how it works.
Yep. So there were quite a few different releases over this weekend, whether on streaming or theatrically.
Yeah.
But we decided, why not make it a double feature weekend and then do a little bonus extra review for fun? Because why the hell not? Because it's great. And we wanted to go see these movies anyway. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we went to see a liminal horror, which I feel like is kind of like one of those, I don't want to say emerging genres because they always existed, you know.
it does feel like it's getting a little bit more spotlighted more recently. Though,
Only in the last
right?
couple of, I don't know, man.
Yeah.
The subreddit is like 1.3 million people. Like that thing is growing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It's starting.
Just subliminal for liminal space in general. But anyways,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, maybe a bit like Exit 8. Yes, definitely. This is the movie we saw
Yes,
because it
this
just
is
came out.
Per the title of this episode,
Yes.
today we're talking about Exit 8. Which
And
was
there
just
is
released.
also Backrooms, which is also kind of like
That one looks...
liminal space,
Yes.
creepypasta inspired type of thing.
Yeah, that one looks very disconcerting. They dropped the full
Exactly.
trailer for that recently, and I was like, "Whoo, boy!" But I love Chiwetel Ejiofor, so I'm really looking forward to
Well, there
seeing
you go.
that. I think that's going to be really good.
That's it.
So that's it. As mentioned, we went to see Exit 8. This film is, for those who are maybe unaware, is an adaptation of a 2023 indie video game called The Exit 8, which was developed by, I think it's Kotake Create,
Yeah.
is the name of the actual company that developed them. And I guess it's something that became really popular and blew up. So fun fact, we wanted to play, before we watched the
Yo.
movie, this is the kind of
That-
game that has a really short playtime.
Yeah,
so
I
we
think
said,
it's like an hour and 15 minutes, and we're like, okay, I have an Xbox.
and
Let's
we
get
said,
it.
sure, yeah. Like,
We'll
we
do
were
a
like,
whole
oh,
thing
let's
before
try
watching
it.
the movie.
Yeah.
Tried to get it. I downloaded on the Xbox. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Try to turn it on. It says not compatible with your Xbox.
Yes. Apparently it's only compatible with the XS. Is that what I saw?
Whatever, I don't know. But
Yeah.
why the hell did it let me pay for it?
I don't know.
That's such bullshit,
I
man.
know. Yeah, fuck you, Xbox. Get your
Seriously,
shit together.
I don't care that it was $4.50.
Yeah, fuck you, Xbox.
Now I have a game that I can't play.
Which
Unless
is
I
just,
get it like a new Xbox. At least
which
it's on
is-
my account,
yeah,
which I'm
I know.
not doing.
But it's just more frustrating to see than
I know.
anything else. You're just kind of looking at it like, oh, cool, and I can't even
It's annoying.
play it. Exactly.
So anyways, we watched the playthrough.
Yeah, so we did. We watched
We watched the
Markiplier's playthrough because we were like, well,
Yes, and we watched all the anomalies
yes.
that you can get and everything.
Yes.
So at least, we are versed
Yeah.
in the whole situation
Exactly.
of the movie and the game. But also the movie kind of like follows it pretty damn closely.
It does,
So
yeah. So we didn't really, even in watching the playthrough and stuff, I was like, okay, well, we didn't really miss out on anything
Exactly.
with the movie. So this film actually, so it originally had its first initial release was actually in May of 2025 at Cannes last year.
and it
so
had like an 8-minute standing ovation.
yes, yeah, it was
That's
very, very well
insane.
received. And then it had its wide release in Japan in August of 2025. And now, as of April 10th, it has just had its North American release as well. So that's very cool because that means it's like slowly growing within the market. I think the hype has built
Oh yeah.
to the point where now it's, getting distribution in other markets, which is very cool. Basically, for folks who don't know anything about it or anything about the game, just to give a basic overview, you play the game as a character who is walking in a subway tunnel, essentially, in Tokyo, I think,
Yeah.
and is looking for the way to get to the exit number 8 to get out of the tunnel. But there are a set of rules that you're expected to follow. You have to get through all 8 tunnels or sections of the tunnel levels, basically.
Technically something happens because he is leaving or he's going to his temp job.
Yeah.
Right? And in him walking towards, the exit, he gets into this weird space kind of that exists but also doesn't exist where he is in a loop to get to exit 8. Right? So he's kind of like passing through the same hallway. There's the same man that passes him. that doesn't interact with him and doesn't do anything. There's like photos and there's doors, whatever it is, on the walls. So he's kind of like in this weird, it's not really a time loop, it's just a loop of him doing things.
It's just
But
the space of like the place that he's stuck in is what
Yeah,
loops.
exactly.
It's not
So,
the
like,
actual time period.
so he has
yeah.
to get out of it. And to get out of it, there is a set of rules that he has to follow, which are essentially like if there's no anomalies, you're good. If there's an anomaly, spot it and turn back, come back the way you came. And that way you can kind of like
Progress
go to the next level.
to the next level.
Exactly. But some of the anomalies are like very hard to spot.
Yes. Yeah, we noticed that during the playthrough, didn't we? That
Yeah.
was just like, oh boy, yeah, some of those would be easy to miss anyway in walking through. So it's a lot about remembering the exact way that the layout of the space looks when you walk through the hallway and making sure that you don't miss anything that is slightly different or out of place in the gameplay. And
Yeah, there's like small things.
Yeah.
Like what's it called?
the doorknob.
The doorknob.
Yes. He's shaking his hand at me. Like, nah, what is
I
the
forgot.
thing?
The doorknob is like in the middle of the door instead of
Mm-hmm,
being, on the left side. Which you think, yeah, if I'm going to look at the door, it's very easy to spot. But, there's
When
3
you're
doors and
looking
you're
at a
looking at
bunch
other
of-
things and it's
yeah.
not really the first
And, like,
thing you would notice and stuff.
You're in a heightened panic state
Yeah,
right now,
exactly.
too. You realize that you can't get out of this space, so there's kind of a lot to it. So let me give brief little the IMDb synopses, and we can get into overarching plot, and then we'll do a little bit of our feelings about it, first impressions, cast, and then we'll get into the actual spoilery stuff.
Yeah.
Okay. A man becomes increasingly desperate when he realizes he is trapped in a subway station, needing to complete a mission to get out. Yes. Yes.
Okay.
It is, again, well, it's the same thing as they always are. That's like super bare bones, but when you get into the actual, like, sort of underlying themes of a lot of what the character is experiencing and stuff like that, I mean, this feels like it's almost the description of the game to a degree,
Eh.
right? Kind of. But
No.
yeah.
This is the shit-ass description.
No, but I mean, it's kind of a description of the game, whereas, in adapting it for film, they were intelligent enough when writing, obviously, the screenplay and everything, to give the character an actual personality, like to give
Oh, well,
them,
yeah.
you know what I mean? Like to give them a backstory, to set things up and give actual exposition, not just have him be like, I'm in a subway tunnel and I can't get out.
Yeah.
And you're like, wait, what?
Yeah, that's it. There's like a lot of kind of like symbolism or themes in this movie. You know what I mean? It's the whole thing of societal obsession kind of with perfection, I guess,
Yeah.
is one of them. And then breaking from the damaging cycles that happens. There's a couple of things that happen in the movie, the daily
Monotonous, is that what you're thinking?
monotony
There you go.
of things, because that's literally how the movie starts, right? Is that like everyone's sitting on their phone on the subway station
Yeah.
and they're just kind of like
Not paying attention to what's
not
going
paying
on
to
around
attention
them.
to anything. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. And I mean, yes, and that there is a bit, and I won't get into specifics of it right now, but there is a little bit at the beginning and at the end of the film that concentrate on the overarching, I think they were done basically to concentrate on the overarching, like, contemporary society, probably not just in Japan, but in general, with regards to, the attitudes of people. If I see something, do I say something? Do I do something to stop it? Or is it easier for me to just ignore it and go about my day?
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
We would go a little bit deeper into the plot if there was more plot to this, but because the movie is very repetitive
Yeah.
in terms of what happens, we don't
It's
wanna
hard
kind of
to-
like it's hard to go through the motions
Without
of what happens.
spoiling what's going on.
Well, first of all, without spoiling what's going on, but also like I'm not gonna be like, hey, that doorknob was in the middle. That is the anomaly, and he turned back around and left. That's
No,
kinda-
no, we're not going to do that. But also, I feel like just again with regards to some of like the themes and everything of it, it's if we start getting into it too much, we're literally giving away like actual plot points
Yeah.
in the film, which isn't really what we want to do.
Exactly.
So,
Well, not right now.
No.
So we are going to say if it was worth it.
Yes. Did we? What are our first impressions of the movie? Did we like it? Did we not like it? All that.
You start.
I'm going first.
Yes,
Okay.
you go first.
So obviously, I didn't really know very much about the game itself, and the game, other than having to really pay attention to things, it has a fairly straightforward premise to
Yeah.
it with regards to like the gameplay and what you have to do. But I don't know. I think that the way that they adapted it, the way that they added a lot of nuance and layers to it,
Yes.
was really intelligent. I really enjoyed this film. There's a lot of like, I don't know what it is. Asian cinema has a way of adding an emotional through line to what could be a very straightforward, probably very boring or basic plot, particularly in their horror films, very, very often. I find that this is something, I don't know what it is, just they're really, really good at writing a level of like emotional intelligence and nuance into their scripts. And also, I mean, without getting like too crazy or too far into it either, just the level of characterization and everything and the expansion that happens within this versus the game itself, I think really made this a really like enjoyable experience. It had a lot of tension, particularly.
Oh, yeah.
And many of the scenes,
There's
whenever the
creepy,
character
creepy
walks
scenes,
around the
man.
corner, you're really hoping that
Yeah,
he doesn't
yeah,
see
that's
anything.
it.
He did it so often that I was like, and that was really great. The performances I thought were really good across the board too, which again, they didn't necessarily have to be, but they were really well done. So there was surprisingly a lot of heart to it and a lot of moments that made you think about things.
Yeah.
And subtlety to it that we were literally just commenting on, weren't we, in our last episode, that sometimes in North American films, they have a tendency to write the script so that it's giving you every single moment of everything and exactly what they want you to think about the messaging behind the story. We were just talking about this when we were talking about Faces of Death. That some of the
Right.
dialogue was too on the nose.
Oh,
like,
right.
we
Yes, I
get
remember
it.
that. Yeah.
I don't think that they're doing that with Japanese cinema. I think they're still allowing room for interpretation and a bit of ambiguity, and I appreciate that.
That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. That's fair.
So, yeah, I don't know, with how I'm feeling right now, I thought it was really, really excellently done. I'm sitting around like an 8
Wow.
out of 10.
Damn. Okay.
Yeah, it was pretty high up there for me. I really liked it.
All right, fair enough, fair enough. I mean, I would say similarly, I liked it a lot. I'm comparing it to the game
Yeah.
a lot, and I think because we at least, we tried, we at least watched the playthrough and everything and kind of found all the anomalies and whatnot. I think the movie was better than the game
Yeah, I can understand what you're saying.
because,
Yes.
I mean, I understand the game, you're not going to put some kind of crazy
Backstory to the person
backstory
that you're
to
playing
everything,
as. No,
and
no,
it is
no.
also an indie game, so I get it. I
Sure.
have nothing against the game. I'm sure it's really cool, and maybe I'll just get it on the computer one day.
Yeah. I think spotting the anomalies and all that stuff is interesting. Like, it's cool gameplay, obviously.
Yeah, that's it.
But,
But
you don't
it's the
necessarily
extra
feel
stuff
any
they added
emotion
to it.
about
Yeah,
it.
exactly. It's the extra stuff they added to it.
Yeah.
Without saying any too much of the things that happens in the movie, there's an exploration of more than the main character
Yes.
in it, which
Yes.
I liked a lot because it gives you this different view and possibility of what this whole thing could be, that
Yes.
it's not just happening to him.
We need to get into that
know?
in
Yeah,
like our
that's it.
favorites
So like
later. Because
they
yeah.
expanded it a little bit, not too much, not too much to deviate from the whole concept and the game and everything, but just enough to give you that peek behind the curtain of
Yes.
this game type of thing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I thoroughly enjoyed that part. And like you said, there's a lot of a good amount of suspense, I guess, that happens. You feel for the character
Yeah.
in most cases, Yeah,
But
like
you see
I'm.
his faults also.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's it. I would say, yeah, I'm solidly like I think it's like a 7 out of 10 for me. Not too high. I still like it a lot, but yeah, more of a 7.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, makes sense. Okay, cool. So let me do brief cast. There are not too many people in the movie, honestly,
Well,
so it's
no.
not going to take very long to get through. And then we can hop into more of a detailed plot breakdown and our favorite aspects of the film.
Yeah. Good luck with the names.
Oh God, yes. Okay, yeah. I'm sorry. I love that you took that away from me. I was going to pre-apologize for what will surely be atrocious pronunciation, so I apologize. I'm
That's
sorry.
Terrible.
Keep in mind, none of the, as is like with a video game very often, none of the characters in this movie have names. So just keep that in mind.
Oh yeah.
No one's named.
Oh yeah, it's true.
Not once.
Well, I mean, they
So-
have naming convention to the
They
character.
do, but they don't have actual
Like an actual
names
name,
that
yeah,
are
that's-
provided to them in any capacity, probably because they could be anyone in a way. So I think it's meant to be like that.
Oh, okay, that makes sense.
They could be different people at different times,
Sure.
Yeah. Anyway, so our lead character of the Lost Man, that's all he's referred to as, is played by Kazunari Ninomiya. Sorry. Yamato Kochi plays a character called the Walking Man. Naru Asanuma, plays a character called the Boy. And then hang on, there was 2 other people, if I'm not, one of them doesn't get a ton of screen time, but Kotone Hanase plays the high school student.
Sure, yeah.
And then finally, Nana Komatsu plays the lost man's partner, basically, is what she's credited as. So, yeah.
There.
Yeah.
There you go.
All right, Dee.
Not too much.
No. So, okay, shall we
I
get
mean, it is an
into...
hour and 15 minutes. Like,
Yeah, it's not. I mean, like, it's not the longest. It's 95 minutes long, the film.
Yeah.
So that's it. Okay, great. So shall we get into some of the more detailed plot points and our favorites and everything?
oh, yeah.
Fab. Let's do it. Gary, get over here.
You've been warned. Spoilers ahead.
Okie dokie. So, breaking things down just in a little bit more detail, as mentioned, the Lost Man is a man who's starts the film on the subway, or the metro. They call it the metro there. Yeah, so do we. Yay. So he starts on the metro, witnesses a woman with a baby who's crying, being bullied, basically, and like yelled at by this businessman who's also on the train, and berated. Like, it's very aggressive. It's actually really like nerve-wracking. I felt really bad for her.
It's fucked up. I'm surprised no one did it. I mean, I know this was probably
That's
for
part
the
of the point.
movie.
That's part of the point.
I know.
No, if there
But
had
I was
been
like, there's no way.
But also, you notice the majority of other people on the train are other men in business suits. I
Yeah.
feel like if you'd seen another woman there, she would have been like, back the fuck off right now.
Okay, well, regardless.
Yeah, I agree. But it's the whole not all men thing, but a lot of men. I'm just saying, like, it's just a lot of things. But part of it, this is what I was talking about earlier, where part of the symbolism of this examines the idea of culture as a whole, because obviously, you know, Japanese culture tends to be built on respect
Yeah.
quite heavily, but also kind of minding your own business to a degree. So it sort of analyzes the aspects of, like, just in public, all of us everywhere in the world. If we see something happening to someone, it's that inner sort of like battle that you have with yourself of do I do something? Do I step in and do something, or do I just ignore this
Because someone else might help.
and make my life a little bit, I'm sure someone else will help.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
sure someone else will call 911. I'm sure someone else will say something. And do I just go about my day? Because yes, overall it's easier to do that, but it's sort of making that decision of what, you know, you should or shouldn't do.
Yeah, well,
and everybody on the
Anyways,
train does.
what does the man do?
Okay, I'm just saying.
Okay.
Let me talk about the symbolism in this. So that's it. The lost man chooses not to intervene, as no one else does on the train either.
It just puts back his...
He puts his earphone that he had taken out when he had heard what was going on back in, and then promptly receives a call from his ex-girlfriend, who indicates to him that she's at the hospital. She's pregnant. Or I guess she's just found out that she's pregnant.
that's it.
And I think it's, again, ambiguous as to whether or not she's waiting for a doctor's appointment or an abortion. I don't think it's like 100% clear, because she's saying to him, like, which is it? What do I do? Do I keep this baby? Do I have an abortion? What do I do? He has an asthma attack. He has really bad asthma, the character. He basically has an asthma attack because he's panicked, obviously, but doesn't offer any help or support.
Yeah, he doesn't say anything.
In
He's
any
very,
capacity.
like,
He's like, oh, okay.
indecisive.
Okay. Yes.
And, you know, he's like walking around and he's trying to get to that exit or whatever it is.
Yes.
And it seems like, you know, maybe he would make a decision once he's outside or anything like that. But he does not say anything, like literally nothing, not like an
No.
or, you know, maybe not, let's think about it, talk about it, whatever it is, like literally nothing.
Yeah,
Nothing
exactly.
is said.
Like, he kind of indicates, I can come to the hospital, but it's very wishy-washy and
Yeah, but
stuff,
it's
so
like,
you're not
it
sure.
means nothing still,
No, that's
right?
it, exactly. So that's our exposition of it. And then pretty much as he's getting off and trying to find his way up out of the metro, he finds himself in a tunnel that's basically like endlessly looping, because he keeps trying to follow the signs to get to exit 8, to exit the actual subway itself
Yeah.
and leave. But he realizes very quickly that he's going in circles. Like, he does it a couple of times and realizes that it's staying at 0, like number 0, exit 0. So he's not advancing.
Yeah,
in
but
any
also the same
capacity.
thing happens. Literally, the
Yes.
same man walks at the same speed. You know, he looks exactly the same.
The hallway is set up in the exact same way. It's got the same number of doors, the exact same posters
Yeah.
on one side of the wall. Nothing is different, which is odd. Like, there would be slight differences even if a lot of the hallways are set up the same way.
Oh yeah, that's terrible marketing. What do you
Yeah,
just put the
need,
same
you
posters
need more businesses
everywhere?
advertised.
Exactly.
So once he does realize this, that's when he seems to come across what the actual instructions are that are given.
Yes.
Which is basically keep an eye out for anomalies. If you spot any anomalies, turn back. Do not move forward. What was the last part of it? There's like a few.
You must exit.
You must, that's it. You must make your way. That's it. You must
To
avoid
exit 8?
all anomalies to get to exit 8.
Yeah.
And that's what he starts figuring out he has to do. And so very quickly he picks up on things the way that you do in the game, which is basically that you need to pay attention to the entire setup of everything in the main part of the hallway. And if nothing is different, then there are no anomalies. Great, you can go through and you will get through to the next quote unquote level. But if there are, you have to spot them and turn around, because if you don't, you wind up back at 0 and you have to start over again.
But some of the anomalies are like pretty intense. Like there's
yeah.
a poster with like, a couple of people drawn.
Yes.
And stuff, and everything is fine. But the only thing that is technically the anomaly is that their eyes move.
Yeah.
And you have to spot that, and it only moves
That
when
scene
you're
is
moving.
so
You know what
good
I mean?
when all the eyes start on
Yeah,
all
but
the
that's what I'm
posters start
saying.
moving. I was like,
That was like, it's hard to spot those things.
Very
You could be
much.
not even looking at it.
yeah, of course. And why would you be paying attention to, oh, there are events there. Oh, that grate was there. Oh, there were 3 doors in this exact order, and this is what the fire hydrant thing looked
yeah,
like.
that's
Like,
it. It's complicated. I did like the part that they've added when he turns, because it's not like a circle loop type
Yeah.
of tunnel, right? It's more of like a letter Z, I guess, with like a couple of other
yeah, I'm like
turns. Yeah.
drawing it out in front of
Anyways,
myself.
it's like right angle, so you can't really see around
Yes.
the corner. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So they did add lockers that were not
Mm-hmm.
in the game. They added kind of like a blanket and some coffee, just
Yeah.
kind of like crap on the ground, whatever,
Yep.
and a photo booth.
Yeah.
So those are the only things that are around the corner from the main hall that were added that were not in the game.
Mm-hmm.
They played a very minor part. I think probably because
They were added for the film.
it
like
was
they didn't
added for
already
the
exist,
film, and
yeah.
it didn't really do anything.
It was just creepy. It was there for
It
the
was
extra
creepy.
horror, I
It was
think.
there for the whole baby thing.
Well, yeah, so
That's-
there's a lot of repetition of babies crying in the film.
Yeah.
Because it's what's weighing on his guilty conscience of not stepping in to help that woman on the metro.
Yeah,
at the
and also
beginning.
his own decision. With
and
his
also
own,
potentially his own decision with his unborn child. Yes,
That's it.
correct. yes.
Exactly. So
Yeah.
like it played a little role there, but
Yeah.
that was about it.
But again, that was more for thematic, I think, more than anything else, and for atmosphere.
so.
Because it creeped me out. I was like, oh.
Yeah, no, that's it. But everything else kind of like stays in the same hallway, kind of like what it
Yes.
is in the video game.
Very, very similar. Yeah, that's it. So we have the entire through line, obviously, that occurs for the Lost Man, and he is our main character.
Mm-hmm.
However, they did this really cool thing with the film where it's divided up into basically 3 parts.
Yeah, almost.
So
That's what I mentioned. That's the
Exactly.
main part that I like.
that's the main part that was like different, that was really cool, is that they've divided it up. So the perspective that you're given is mostly from the Lost Man's perspective. However, we do have a second kind of chapter within the film that follows the Walking Man, who is a character who you see in the game who always walks by
Yeah, he's
your
the
character.
guy like balding, white shirt, no socks.
Exactly.
You know?
Black pants. That's it, who always walks by your Lost Man
Yeah.
character. And he does so in the film quite frequently. He's used as an anomaly a few times because he like follows him and smiles at him all scary. Weird. But we actually get the Walking Man's perspective, because as it turns out, this is obviously a really major difference from like the game. That's really cool, is that what they decided to do with this version of it and making a film is that they make the Walking Man into an actual character who is also stuck.
Yeah.
And so what he doesn't see himself as just like blindly walking around looking at his phone and just walking straight past another guy. He doesn't see the Lost Man ever. He has his own perspective and his own endless loop that he's stuck in, which is really cool.
Yeah, that was very
I thought
smart.
that was really cool. I was like, oh, I didn't realize we were going to get like multiple POVs in this. And it was like a really intelligent thing to do for like an adaptation like this that's so singular, because there's just one person the whole time.
Well, yeah,
so it's
that's
like,
it.
what do we do with this to make it captivating and more interesting to be an hour and a half long film?
I feel like they had to do it because there's the addition of the kid,
Mm-hmm.
right? And in order to explain how the kid got there, they kind of needed that aspect.
Well, they need him to interact with people.
They need to interact with people, but also kind of like, I guess, explain a little bit
Yeah.
how he got there and why is the kid there. Although we don't get like a full explanation, because from what I understand, the kid is also kind of stuck,
Yes.
you know?
Yeah.
But he was, the Walking Man was trying to help him.
He said, I was going to meet my son today. So my understanding from that would be that his wife or partner is in labor in the hospital.
Oh, yeah? That makes sense?
He says that at one point. There's a
Yeah.
lot to do with like parenthood
That's
in
it.
this.
Yeah, yeah, with kids and everything. Yeah, and he basically, the walking man there, essentially kind of like succumbs to one of the anomalies because
He
he
does.
thinks that he's found the exit.
Yeah.
And he leaves through the stairs to.
But his sign says exit 0, and instead of listening to it, he
Yeah.
decides, no, that's a way out. So he leaves. And I guess we're given to understand that he'll either forever be stuck in the loop, or like in the game, if you do that, you die
Yeah,
and you
and then
start
you just
over.
restart,
You
which is
respawn.
whatever.
But I don't know if that just means like he dies, or if he himself becomes like an NPC kind of.
I think that's what it is because like he also had a person walking towards him in the same
Yes.
hallway, which is like a woman.
A young schoolgirl,
yeah,
basically.
that's it,
Like a
and-
high school student, I guess.
So I think you just kind of like become part of this whole situation, that happens.
Yeah, it's like you become trapped forever. It's like a purgatory.
Essentially, yeah.
Almost, right? You become trapped in this place and you cannot get out. And so at first, the walking man has found this young boy, the little boy, and is trying to help him get out. But I don't know if it's partially because the young boy never says anything to him.
Yeah.
He never speaks to him. And I wonder to a degree if it's because he can sense that this guy's like too panicked and he's never going to get them out of there, or if he's just uncomfortable with him for some reason. Because after the walking man makes the wrong decision and chooses to leave and go up the staircase, even though he did not make it through all 8 levels, he disappears and the boy is left by himself, at which point he decides to again turn back rather than obviously listen to an anomaly, and runs into the lost man, and they wind up spending the rest of their time together in order to try to get out, and they form like a little pseudo friendship
In a sense, I mean,
for
they're helping each
survival
other,
sense,
whatever.
right?
Yeah,
Because
yeah,
they're
that's
helping
it.
each other. And this kid, I don't know how long this kid has been stuck there. It was like stressing me out because he was so aware of what the anomalies were that I was like, what the fuck? Like he spotted things immediately. He was the one who spots small things like the door handle, the 8 on exit 8 being flipped upside down.
Yeah.
On like the banner sign that's there. Like he spotted a lot of stuff. So I was like, so it's almost to a degree where you're kind of like, both these men are struggling with the idea of like a child in some capacity. Is this kid real? Is he really stuck there? Is he not stuck
Yeah, that
there?
we
See, it's
kind
a
of-
level of ambiguity. We don't know.
I know, yeah, that's it. I was kind of thinking about that, and it's like, did it actually happen? Was the kid there? Was it part of the whole thing? I don't know.
Exactly.
It feels like this is something that could happen to kind of like anyone.
Yes.
Really, I guess. So
Because
maybe
he
it
says
was
he
real?
wandered off from his mom. So
Yeah, that's it. Exactly. Anyways.
Anyway, do you want to kick off favorites?
Yes.
Okay.
Well, one thing, like I mentioned right off the bat, is the fact that they've added something to this movie that made it a little bit better, I think, than the game. They added
Yeah.
more meat. They added the whole character, and that there could be a loop for other people. That whole aspect, I enjoyed it a lot more because, yes, like the game being the game, what it is, it's probably really
It's
cool
more of
to
just a
kind of.
puzzle game for you to spot the difference.
That's it.
Like,
It's about the crazy things that
Yeah.
happen, and you just kind of experience it. But it would have been different. Like the movies, I feel need to have some kind of meaning or emotional something
yeah,
to it,
like a
through
through
line,
line,
like you
yeah,
mentioned. That's
yeah.
it. And this one, it gave enough of it by adding those elements
Mm-hmm.
to make it good, and it wasn't just kind of like a guy walking and spotting differences.
I
Because then you can
completely
just
agree.
watch the fucking playthrough
You
on
can watch
YouTube.
the playthrough of the game where you
like
can
we
play the
did.
game yourself and do that.
Yeah, that's
you know?
it. So that's not the same thing.
No. I think my first favorite within that space, like similarly,
Yeah.
was actually the character of the walking man himself, because there was something extremely, I guess, real about his level of frustration within being stuck in all of the different levels. Like, and obviously he's been there for a while as well, because as we see him progressing in the levels, he's so like, yes, fucking right.
yeah,
Every
of
time he,
course.
spots something and gets to the end of another level and can't quite figure out what's going on. But also his level of desperation when he does ultimately, unfortunately, choose to go up and out of the subway station in the wrong place because he sees that there is a quote unquote exit that's there.
Yeah.
Even though he knows I think deep down he knows he's not supposed to, but his level of desperation that he's hit, there was something realistic about it where you feel like as a person stuck in that situation, you might be that person too. I think as much as we'd all like to think that we would be logical and calm and we would keep going and we would find our way back through this, that, and the other, that's not necessarily what we would do. And it's like,
Hey, it depends. You never
it's
know,
like
right?
a cheat in life, right? You try to take the easy way out of something, and the easy way out is to run up those stairs. So I thought that was really realistic.
Yeah, I
And I
guess.
liked that.
Yeah, that's fair. No, that's really cool. Yeah, for me, I don't know if I have a lot other things to say. I just like the movie in general.
Yeah.
There's nothing really specific for me to point out for like, I guess number 3.
2 and 3.
2 and 3. I mean, for 2, I just like the creepy vibe that it gave. But I think that's kind of like the whole general liminal horror type of thing that I think would like to explore it a little bit more
Yeah.
with either movies, games, or whatever it is. But yeah, it's just the fact that it is literally the same setup, the same hallway and whatnot, and it still can creep you out the way that it did. That was, I think, really well done.
Yeah.
If you think about it objectively, that's definitely my, kind of like my number 2 is that so simple
Yeah.
and yet so fucking creepy. Yep.
I really liked, as my second favorite, I really liked the sound design in the film. I thought that it utilized sound very well from obviously a lot of the quiet moments that are experienced. But then because so often so much of what was going on was fairly quiet, other than characters like muttering to themselves
Yes.
and things, when you get something like the music cue every time you come back around to the exit 8 hallway.
Yep.
Was the same, or it was more foreboding if there was something pretty bad coming, which I really thought was really cool. And because it was so silent very often, when there would be a sound that would give something away, that was so much more foreboding. It was so much scarier in those moments. Like you were so much more like, oh fuck, I hear something that's not
that's
good.
it.
That's not good. Whether
'Cause
it's
then-
the baby crying or the banging on the door. At one point, like one of the doors, somebody's like banging on something.
Yeah.
And he like turns around to leave, like that, like, it's very disconcerting and you're more creeped out by it because it's been so silent and everything is supposed to be the same all the time. Every time you walk through, even just the simple things like you're listening for when the walking man walks by, his heels click down at the same amount of time.
Yes.
And the few times that his NPC type character is used as an anomaly, it's like you can hear that the walking stops and you're like, fuck.
Yo, that's it, right? And then you look,
And he
you have to
turns
look
around and he's next to him and it's just like, you're like,
Ugh.
"Wah," and he's like smiling like very manically. So like that was really cool. There's a one particular anomaly sequence right towards the end in which a tsunami siren goes off. Then that leads to like a large, it's basically meant to be like a tsunami flood, which I can imagine would be, I think it's very effective for everybody. I can imagine for a Japanese audience that would be
Well, yeah.
very effective.
That would be really fucked up for them.
Yeah, I think because even I was like, oh, wow, like I was like, well, that was rough because what you see is like the water comes in, but it's not just water, it's debris of stuff that's been like carried away with buildings and things. And I was like, wow,
Yeah,
that's
that's it.
rough. So, and there's like a particular image afterwards of the little boy lying on the floor that I was like, oh my God, this is really sad. It's going to make me cry. But all of that use of sound to create that sense of dread that you feel, I thought was really clever and it was really well done.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
Very, very much agree. I was even looking at the anomalies myself, trying to spot them
Yeah.
while the other person was doing it too in the
Yeah,
movie,
like
you
as
know?
he's like pointing out all the different things, you're like, does that look different? Does that look different? Does that look different? It's true.
Yeah. That's about it. For
I feel
me,
like you're
would
trying
say.
to-
Yeah, no, I'm trying to think of something. I'm not sure. There's, again, it's not because the movie is not good or whatever it is. I'm trying to force it. It's not really the case. It's just, there is just so much that happens in this movie. It's the same hallway, the same guy.
Yeah.
He experiences a little bit different things. Overall, it was great. Would I watch it again? Probably with other people just to get them to experience it. But myself, I might rewatch it maybe another time just to see if I can spot them. Because I didn't understand on the first one how he didn't complete the first level. And apparently it's because the lights on the ceiling were all out of place. But he barely ever looks up.
Yeah.
And that's why you didn't spot it
Yeah.
in the first one.
Right,
So
that's it.
it's like for those things that I would like to.
That you would also just barely notice yourself as well. And going into it for the first time, you're like, well, I don't know.
Yeah, exactly. That's it. And because, he doesn't obviously make it on the first try, the second, or even the third
Yeah.
one. So it's those ones that I want to see if I would spot them.
Yeah,
if I
that
were
makes
to
sense.
rewatch it again.
Well, because apparently part of what they, I mean, like obviously part of what they were doing was expanding on what, you know, like keeping, I think they did a good job of keeping enough in for people who are fans of the game because they had exact copies of specific
Yes.
anomalies while also doing other stuff, right? Like the blood dripping and the rats with the body parts off of them because of a social media post that he's watching on his phone at the
it's true,
beginning
you're right.
of, you know,
Yeah, they
like,
changed it
so
a
it's
little
part
bit.
of his own, because it's like a psychological horror as well as being like a liminal horror, right?
Yeah.
So there's like a lot of parts of that, and the character of the lost man is confronted by like, so apparently what part of what they were going for is that he's confronted by his childhood, his current self-image, and the ability and courage to make and take responsibility for
Yep.
his choices
All that
in
makes
life.
sense.
So
Yes.
all of that are things that you see. That's it periodically throughout the course of like the journey that he goes on, basically, which is really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree.
A third, I guess, is like, I know obviously it would be surprising for it not to look like that because it's designed exactly how the game is designed. But the entire just use of space in the film, of the set, the hallway, the way that everything is designed, it just draws your eye. Like you are looking around at all the things at the same time as the
But
character
is
is
that the
looking at
design
them.
or is that the setting of the movie? You know what I mean?
I don't know. Like, I don't know if that's what it is, but it was just like the use of space, I thought, was really well done in the
Yeah.
film. Like, it felt really seamless. There were a lot of really cool camera movements
There
that
was,
followed
yes,
him
it's
around.
true. Actually, you know what? That could have been something that I should have mentioned. But yeah,
We can just pretend it's your third.
there's a couple of good camera
Very good
movements
camera
because, you know,
shots.
when he turns around and he's technically running back, so you should see him go back into the hallway
Mm-hmm.
at the end of the hallway, but he restarts at the beginning of the hallway. And those are, as far as I know, were one shot things. But
Yeah.
of course, there is some camera trickery that they
I mean,
probably
yeah.
did cuts or whatever that are invisible in stitches. But those things were, you know, very well done, very seamless.
I
So,
agree. I thought
yeah.
they were really interesting. And I thought it
I'm
was
sorry,
just
but my
really
brain
well
doesn't
done.
work. I'm sick, so that's
He can't think of anything
I can't
interesting.
think of anything interesting.
Anyway, yeah, this was a film that I really, really enjoyed. I thought it was extremely well made.
Yeah.
I understand what you're saying, like, to a degree, it's not like a movie that I'd pop on for fun, really, necessarily, but at the same time, like, would rewatch even to try and myself work through some of the ambiguity of it. Like, is the
Yeah.
little boy there or not? Is this just like him talking to himself to a degree? Is it him talking to his potential unborn child?
Right,
In a
that's
way,
it,
like,
that's
you know,
it.
like there are so many different things that you can kind of take away from it that way. And then at the end of the film, gets back on the subway, starts seeing the same thing again, and makes a particular choice.
Mm-hmm.
Will that change an outcome? Is he still stuck there? Like, we don't know.
Yeah, I guess we don't know, eh? Because
Ah.
he technically sees the same thing
He
happens to him at
does.
the end. And it's not
And-
like he got out or
And
got on a
he
different train.
And he makes the decision to take out his earphone, and he starts walking like he's going to go do
Yeah,
something.
it's true. That is very interesting and very smart. I like it.
Yeah.
We are going to add it to our horror movie picker. If you're not sure what to watch
Yeah.
tonight, check out at gravetonepod.com. There is a nice little link for literally a 3 second quiz.
It's a
You
4 questions, I
Answer
believe.
4 questions. Just pick whatever genre, whatever, and it gives you recommendations
Yeah.
of our personally curated movie that we liked.
Yeah, and this
So-
is one of them, so waha.
Yeah, I'm gonna add it tonight for sure.
Exactly. So yeah, you can check that out for sure. Follow us on all of our socials at Gravetone Pod everywhere. And please, 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 if you would like to, you know, if you enjoy these episodes, if you would like to rate and review the pod, it really helps us out on all platforms. So that's really nice. We've still got, that's it, more releases coming out this month. And we're going to have, I think, some more stuff that we're talking about. We were talking about getting into some TV shows and stuff as well.
Yeah.
So I think we're going to be doing that too, and maybe doing a little bit more bookish stuff and a few other things.
Oh,
too
100%.
before
We
the
have a
end of this
horror
month.
author that we have lined up.
Yeah, that we
for
have
an
lined up that we're
interview,
going to talk
so-
to before the end of the month. So that'll be really fun also. So yeah, it's going to be a really good time. Yay. Yay for the rest of April, because it's not really spring yet in our neck of the woods. So I need something to look forward to.
Yo, seriously.
While the weather's shit. It's really bad. This is what causes these spring colds that Arthur is sort of semi-experiencing. We can't figure it out. Anyway, until next time, guys, which I think will be The Mummy coming up on, I think, the 17th of
Awesome.
April, which will be really interesting to see. Stay scared and stay tuned.
Ciao, guys.